Hey everyone, you're with Tesla Tom, and thanks so much for joining me today on my YouTube channel where I discuss Tesla, electric vehicles and renewable energy. If this is your first time to my channel, then hello and welcome. Take a moment to hit that red subscribe button. That way you stay informed of any new content, and it also helps my channel to grow as well. Today we're going to do a comparison video between a Tesla Model 3 from the GigaFactory Shanghai and a Tesla Model 3 from the Fremont Factory in USA. We're going to do that and much more right after this. Alright guys, welcome back to the world famous Bondi Beach here in Sydney, where we are comparing the two Model 3s side by side. The black performance Model 3 on the left is a 2021 Model 3 from Tesla Factory Fremont in California. Many thanks to Shane for loaning us his Model 3 for the review. And the car on the right is a white SR Plus Model 3 from GigaFactory Shanghai China, which many thanks to William for loaning us his vehicle, took delivery of yesterday. All right, let's take a little walk around between the two vehicles and then we'll do a very detailed comparison between the two. All right, let's start with the white Model 3 SR Plus from the GigaFactory Shanghai. Do a little walk around. Look at the headlights, of course, in more detailed once we do the walk around, as well as the tires, as well as the VIN to prove that it is from Shanghai, as well as the new door trim, the wood door trim. And panning across now to the black performance Model 3 from the US. Both magnificent vehicles in their own right. All right, that is both vehicles side by side. Let's go take a detailed look at each one. Alrighty, let's start with the headlights. This is the US Model 3 headlights that we all know and love. There we are. Let's pan across to the Chinese Model 3 with the new headlights, matrix headlights, which apparently can now be software controlled. So it'll be very interesting to see once we get that software update that will provide the software control for these headlights. It'd be good to do a test at night time to see exactly what functions are when that becomes available in the near future. All right, next up, let's look at the tires from the Chinese Model 3. As you can see there, they are Michelin Pilot Sport 4. On the SR Plus, 235 45 ZR 18-inch wheels, 98Y, very nice. And they feature also the aero caps, the new aero caps, also found in the latest US made ones from 2021. All right, next thing I want to show you is the VIN number differences. So this is the US one. As you can see, I can hopefully zoom in and focus. Here we go. Starts with a 5YJ3. That means it's from the US. Let's pan across now to the Chinese one. So here we are. Chinese Model 3 starts with an LRW3. That's many thanks to good mate Vita Prime for confirming that this VIN number means it's from the Chinese Gigafactory in Shanghai. All right, so this one is the black Model 3 from the US. And as you can see the speaker, the grid pattern behind the grille. All right, so that's the US one. Let's go over to the Chinese one now. Just walk around here. And as I come into the white Chinese one, open the door a bit wider. There we go. So the mesh is different now, and you can't see the grid pattern behind it at all. And there is the wood panel on the side of the door there, as you can see. And extends, of course, over to the passenger side as well. There. I'll just show you, interestingly, if you look at the grain of the wood, sort of parallel here, then when we get to the edge there, it sort of keeps going like that. So they've chosen to go this way, as in sort of, you know, it keeps going in that direction rather than sort of bending around and following the parallel direction of the door. So yeah, interesting choice. I guess some people might say, why didn't you go parallel this way? But I suppose if you look at it from this angle, it doesn't look too bad. Sort of everything's sort of heading in that direction. Interesting choice. And like the refresh Model 3s from the US, you still get the wireless charging pad. You still get the center console with a slide. It's pretty good. Drink holders, center console, everything is there. And I'm just going to show you also the door handle button is also the same as the US one, so that hasn't changed. And the window controls are the same as well, that matte finish. Steering wheel is also the same. It's also that one piece of vegan leather as with the US one. And the volume control and the scrolly wheel on the other side, they're both also that metallic finish too, right there. Might also go into the back to show you what it looks like from behind with the wood grain. Looks pretty nice. I'll just pan around slowly for you. Quite like the wood finish on the door. Okay, there's been some talk about the Pedestrian boombox. Now the Chinese Model 3 also has the speaker installed. I'm just going to go under the car here so you can see that. If not, I'll just get a photo from the internet. But obviously I'm not going to pull it apart today to see whether there is a speaker behind, but the Grilll is certainly present here. I can run my fingers across it there. But it will be very, very interesting to see once these cars get the software update, whether the boombox is enabled for the Chinese Model 3s. And the trims are all chrome delete as well, same as the US one. That hasn't changed either. Good to see. The T logo is also gone as well. That was also gone in the US version. As you can see, very similar, and they're both chrome deleted side by side. They look pretty similar in macro. I suppose we need to look at panel gaps. That's the big question. Is the quality the same? All right, so let's have a look at panel gaps. I'm just going to show you some key points here. I'm of course no expert in terms of being a body shop mechanic or anything like that, but from what I've read, a 4mm panel gap or below is pretty good, and of course consistency is key as well. And from what I can see, it looks pretty good. I'm just going to take some random points here. This is a plastic ruler, so it won't scratch, I promise. There is about, hold it parallel there, that's 4mm at a random point. It's pretty good. And that's sort of 3mm there. You know, that's within tolerance, I would have thought. That's about 3mm there. I'll just shut this door properly. Let's see what it sounds like too. Oh, by the way, there's double glazing is there as well for the Chinese Model 3. That's good. Does it make a nice sound? Yeah, that's pretty good. A nice sound there when it shuts. And between front door and back door, you know, that's about 3mm, 3.5mm again. Very acceptable. Back here between the back panels, the door and the back panel, that's about 4mm once again. Very acceptable. That's 4mm. I guess the only issue might be the where the boot meets the rear panel. So I'll just show you here. That's pretty tight there. That's probably more like 2.5mm up here. And then if I sort of come all the way down here, you know, you're looking probably more like 5 mil down here. So that's, I guess, the only blemish that I can see. And I guess you can argue that the light sticks up a little bit there. That gap is a little bit higher than you would like. But apart from that, as I've shown you, it's pretty good. And I'll just quickly show the US one. You know, the US one's pretty good too. That's sort of 5. Down here, that's 5, 4.5. Probably not as obvious on a black car. That's 4 there. Bit of a gap here, I guess. The US one, that's more like 5 maybe. And then down here, again, that's sort of 4.5. So, you know, just from the few points that I've seen, I would say the Chinese one is pretty consistent. I dare say even slightly better than the US one, just from the random points I've seen. But of course that varies from car to car, and I can't speak for all vehicles, but certainly between these two cars, just a random sample. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, and of course it's got the powered rear lift hatch or lift gate, so let's press the button there. Yep, and it pops up by itself. Very nice. And of course you can shut it as well with a button. Let's go. Boom. Very nice indeed. Yeah. Let's show the boot one more time. So push it once. Let's have a look inside. The wheels opted for the Tesla Model 3 official trunk mat. It's pretty good. Very spacious in here, of course. Like all Model 3s, that hasn't changed by any means. A 60-40 split from behind. Looks pretty good up there, above. Yep. And of course there's always a cavity below here. There we go, pretty good down there to store other things. Okay, let's have a look at the Frunk. Pretty sure this hasn't changed from the US. Very good wheels, got the spare tire kit, very handy to have. And yep, he's also got the front Frunk mat as well from Tesla, very good. And I think that's good to have because it doesn't look very good underneath. That has changed from the older, you know, for example, our 2019 version had a nicer floor at the Frunk. But I would say now you probably should get the Frunk mat. Just makes it look a bit nicer. It's pretty good, pretty spacious in there. I like that. And that's the Frunk right there with the hex pattern. 2 struts. Still not powered, so it does require a little bit of force to shut it. There we go. And look, last thing I want to comment on is the paint. The paint job is amazing, good quality. This is the multi-coat white paint from China. It looks really good. And yeah, I mean, for a complimentary paint job, I think it's fantastic. Certainly top class. So really good there. All right, that's pretty much the side-by-side review of the Chinese versus the US Model 3. I guess the last thing to do now is to go for a quick test drive of the Chinese Model 3. Let's do it. All right, everyone, we are in the GigaFactory Shanghai Chinese Model 3. Many thanks to William again for loaning us this vehicle. And we're just going to go for a quick loop around Bondi. And of course, there are a couple of things I cannot test today, like the battery, for example. The new Chinese Model 3s have got the LFP battery. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery. And they apparently have a, they're bigger in this car, so they've got slightly more range. And there were mixed reports about, you know, the ability to get as fast a charging rate as the old NCA ones from the US, but apparently there's some data online now that showed that is not true. So I think that could possibly be a myth. I think the battery might be okay from the Chinese ones. And the other thing I cannot test today too is steering wheel heater. That's apparently available only in the long range version. Not quite in the SR Plus, so we can't do that today. But I'll certainly get my hands on some footage from a long-range Model 3 from China to see that, make sure that's available. And yeah, I guess since we're driving, let's engage Autopilot. We don't have full self-driving in this car yet. William was smart enough to not add it until after he took delivery to save on luxury car tax. All right, let's engage Autopilot. Very nice, pretty smooth. Can't complain. And it's a good test of the red light, whether it stops in time. Got the got the traffic light visualizations, which is great. Yeah, I know it's only a short test, but it's pretty good so far. Let's see whether it dings on green. Let's see which software update he's up to. So he's on 39.1042.1, so hopefully he will get an update soon. He's on standard, so I might tell him to put it on advanced, and that way you will get software updates sooner, hopefully. All right, this doesn't have auto lane change, so I will have to sneak into the left lane. Let me just take Autopilot off and sneak in there. Very good. And then we'll swing left on the roundabout. It definitely doesn't have roundabout control yet at this stage. All right, just a brief test, of course, but you know, pretty happy. It's a good drive. It's like pretty much every other Tesla Model 3 I've been in and driven. Just a magnificent ride. All right, guys, we're just coming up to the end of the video now. Thanks for joining us. I would dare say, having briefly compared the two vehicles between the US Model 3 and the Chinese Model 3 I'm sitting in today, I would say I'm pretty happy. From the evidence I've seen, you saw the headlights there, the new headlights, which hopefully will be software controlled for a better experience with a future software update. You saw the panel gapping was pretty consistent throughout the whole car, except for one or two blemishes, nothing major. The quality of the paint was magnificent. The triple coat, multi-coat white paint. The driving experience is great. It's pretty much the same as every other Model 3 I've driven, like I said. All the 2021 refresh features are all here, with the center console, the wireless charging pad. All that is included, and it still slips under the luxury car tax for an SR Plus in Australia. So you know what? I think, you know, from what I've seen, I dare say it is a satisfactory pass for a Tesla Model 3 from GigaFactory Shanghai in China. Well done, Tesla. Well done. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate that. And of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already yet. And are you expecting a delivery of a Tesla Model 3 from the GigaFactory Shanghai in China? If so, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Have you also seen one in the showroom in Tesla? What do you think about it? Did you like the quality? Leave a comment below as well. All right, guys, stay safe. And until the next video, happy charging.